In this video, I completely rebuilt my greenhouse just so I could make a step-by-step instructional video so you guys could follow along at home. If you find this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. And I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe, as there's tons of content on my channel already and way more to come. And as always, good luck and God bless with all your greenhouse and garden projects.
Going into the beehive.
There's the queen right there.
Hello everyone, and thank you for watching. I got similar requests from my previous greenhouse video about how to build it step by step. So I decided I would tear it down and rebuild it again. And if you like the video, smash that button down below. And don't forget to subscribe. This greenhouse can be built in a day. My friend and I did so here on this farm in just over 10 hours. While this greenhouse rebuild video took several days because we were filming it and we had weather issues.
There's more in here? Woo! It is warm.
It's best to always start off by leveling your land. We did so here by using these large retaining wall blocks. If you have a significant slope, you can terrace the land using multiple layers of blocks. In order to level this greenhouse, I find it easiest to pick one corner and use that as your master. You level it in every direction off of that one. I'm choosing this one down here, either raise or lower everything else around it in accordance with this one. This is very rough, but I got my master corner down. This one's now level. Oh, beautiful. Subtract or add soil to level each block. To get them straight, use a string tied between two spikes. One of the first things you want to do is choose the proper materials. On the previous greenhouse, I was on a really strict budget, so I only used standard, non-pressure treated pine wood. And I actually used 2x4s in some spots instead of 2x6s. This time, I'm using pressure treated 2x6s, which will probably more than double the lifespan of the greenhouse. The rough outline of the greenhouse is 10 feet wide by 12 feet long. Using the 10-foot PVC piping, it creates the perfect arch. Just the right height to resist wind, rain, and snow. Snow kind of just falls right off of it. I'm doing this one 10 feet by 12 feet. I'm getting a 13-foot wide by 25-foot sheet of greenhouse plastic for the main arch to go over the top. So therefore I can go exactly 10 by 12 and have enough overhang so the plastic can meet over the edges and I can crimp them down. Usually I would cut the ends down because when you put them together you get like the extra width of the 2x. So it actually adds like a couple inches to your overall project. But as with all things, measure. Measure twice, cut once. This raw lumber, even though it's called a 2x6 by 12 foot, it's not always exactly 12 feet long. Case in point, this board right here is 1.25 inches longer than 12 feet. That's 12 feet right there. Use a scrap piece. I'm going to be using these 3-inch exterior screws. I find that they last very well out in the elements. Level up and square your corners. Now I'm not too worried about making the whole thing level and square right now. I'm going to work first to get all the corners connected. Then it'll be easier to move it around where I want it and get it level at that point. This other 2x6 right here, this is going to be the other side of our planter bed. I'm gonna hold off on that for now. Nice. Oh, beautiful thing. You wanna put a T, okay? So on the ends, the two ends, you put a T. For everyone in the middle, you're gonna put a cross. Now, the debate has been whether to use PVC cement on that. Some people say, yeah, go ahead and do that so it lasts for years. Some people say no, so that way you can easily change it out. I didn't do it last time, and it made it a lot easier to disassemble. For the corners, we have to bend the pieces. You're taking the 2-hole strap, and you just gotta bend these ends up.
To accommodate the corner boards.
Correct. That's gonna be very loose because it's not meant to be like that. So I want to place either a piece of wood or something in here as a wedge. I'll cut a piece of extra PVC. And I'm just eyeing it up, but I mean, you want it like about 6 inches. So I cut that PVC pipe in half, just like so. And I'm gonna use this as my like spacer. Right over the pipe like so. Look at that. I'm gonna put one on both sides actually. Make it even stronger. Put this one in the back. This one in the front. Now this is just for the corner once again. It's not for the whole thing. I'm gonna add the tape because it makes it just easier to hold in place while you're working. Got it right level where I want it. Don't want to go too far. I almost went through the strap on that one. So we're going to repeat the process in this corner. Now just repeat that in all the other corners. So on the ends, we're going to use the T. Whereas in the center, we're going to be using the crosses. So on the other end, also, when you get them new, they're going to be perfectly straight. These are already pre-bent from being out in the sun. It's easier just to put the PVC pipe in straight up and then bend it later. So, but since these are already bent, we're going to do it together like this.
Dead center of this length here is 12 feet 1.5 inches. So we're going to mark our center 6 feet 3/4 inch.
23 or 20.5. And we're going to mark it on the other side as well.
Trying to figure out the width of the door that we need or want on here.
And we're basing that on the width of our bins. So we would like to be able to carry our bins in and out either with soil we just mixed or with plants. And this is the best way to do it, is to measure that. So you know how wide to make your opening. I mean, if you're not going to carry bins in, you can just make any size door you want.
Probably talking about 25 inches.
We have agreed upon a 30-inch door, so that's what we're going to go with. We're going to find the center point. So it's 10 feet and 1/4 inches.
5 feet and 1/8, the center right there.
That is correct. Here's 15 inches. So our door will be inside of that. Now that we know where our door is going to go, take the board we're going to be using. Go by the top line that I made, the top
Okay.
top corner.
Okay.
Use that as your guide, okay?
It's right on.
Once you get it level, then what you want to do is you want to mark it off where this thing is. You give it a couple lines, and wherever it shows up the most, that's where you're going to cut it at. That's how you would do it if you were by yourself, or if you just want to make it easier. Just put 2 clamps on it, and you're good to go. It's fast, faster than drilling it in actually. All right, without touching it, so we can see where it lays naturally. I'll make that easier later. Mark the back of it. Perfect. So I'm going to make sure it's exactly 30 inches. We'll make the gap 30 inches. The door will be slightly smaller.
On 30.
So I cut the next board to 30 inches. These are 2 cutoffs from 6x6s, okay? So we can actually see exactly where we need to put the boards at. So in other words, if I take this board right here and I go, okay, I want the board to run across the top right here. So I'll put it right there. So that these PVC pipes can rest on it. This way we know exactly where the board's going to be, so there's no guessing. Beautiful. I'm going to try to get one in. Not bad. The screw only will go in like an 1/8 of an inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to sink it in about that far. You got a drill bit here. We're going to drill it in to halfway. The trick to this, so you don't go in too far, is you get a piece of tape and you put it to where you want it to be. I went too far in this one. That's why I'm doing this now. Yeah, I went too far. Right there. Last time, because I had the boards sitting on top of this and I used the plywood, it was up here. I'm gonna go all the way out this time. I think overall rigidity of the structure is worth that little bit of sacrifice for like the style. Whereas the last time it was like flush mount, it looked really smooth, but it wasn't as strong as this way will be, in my opinion. So it's exactly 6 inches from the corner where the top meets. All right, so we'll put the top angle right there. Beautiful. Don't worry about the bottom. Just try to get this top part level. Right there. Putting one screw all the way around in case we have to make adjustments. All right, once I get my pilot drilled, then I'm gonna come around and make sure that everything is where I want it. Right there. Beautiful. All right, on to the next side. Oh man, I'm sorry that I missed that, guys, but I literally just repeated the same thing from the other side on this side. So just literally just do the same thing over again. The same 79 3/4 from the bottom. Same thing. I just ran this one a little lower so it'll be extra strength in the middle of the greenhouse. You can do that if you're on a hill like I am, or you can just make it flush with the bottom and then just put stones underneath of it or whatever you choose. But other than that, it's the same thing as the other side so far. I want this screw to sit about right about there. I want it to seat. So given that, you roll it, make a little mark like that, so then you take the drill bit and you mark it with some tape so that you know it don't go deeper than that. And you repeat that on the other. That's perfect, right in there where you want it to be. So between the 2 screws on the other side and this one, this should be pretty strong. You could always add steel plates. Those are like hurricane ties if you really want to make it even stronger.
You always said you were going to build me a house. You just didn't say that it was going to be a greenhouse.
So that's where the top will go, 6 inches from the corner. Take your line down the board. And the rain's coming in. You know those rain dances? Was there an anti-rain dance, Mama?
Booga booga.
Again, 6 inches from the corner. Got where you want it?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you match the top corner up right here. You go on your line and then you draw. Make a pilot screw in there to hold things together for us. Alright, now's when you want to make it right where you want it. Alright, I'll line that up now. Beautiful.
Almost perfect.
Are you doing double checking with 2 levels?
Yeah. In case one's lying.
We built a greenhouse. We built a greenhouse. Day 3, because we've been putzing around and filming it and didn't have the supplies here. We're gonna put it on the back side of the board right here, okay? But go down to the bottom now, so you get an accurate reading. 142 3/4.
Slightly larger.
just like an eighth. Before I cut the ends off of the board, what I usually do is I look for damages. Like this one has a little chip there, it's got a knot. So if you're gonna cut something off, get rid of that. 142 3/4.
Yep.
Same thing on the next board.
That feels so much more sturdy now, having double braces spread apart than just one single brace. So let's go with 47.
.26 15/16.
One screw on each end.
PVC pipes are just about 2 feet on center. Just about, not perfectly, but they're just about 2 feet on center. You gotta think when you add the clip in, you have to make this pipe right here a little shorter than the 2 feet, so when it fits in the ends, it lines up. I got 22.5 inches. Using a relatively fine tooth saw, finer the better, because it won't get caught and break. And then you cut that one, then you measure the next one, cut that one. You don't want to measure them all out at once. Every time you take out a saw blade, you're gonna lose some.
All right, once you get them firmly in, if you look inside, you can see that the ends meet. Looks pretty good. Yeah, beautiful parts.
I know, I already cut that.
It just showed up
Oh, board just appeared out of nowhere. It is perfectly cut.
Yeah, see that? See how good I am?
As soon as he comes on the job,
I found a piece of wood on the floor
and it fits perfectly.
Yeah, what are the odds?
Instead of doing the standard plastic flapping window we had last time, we got a real actual double pane, double hung window. Second hand, of course. But if we knew that, we would have moved this thing in. Maybe not, because we wanted this side to match that side. So I mean, it's give and take. So now it looks uniform, but now we have to put this here. The window is 23 3/4. So in order to get our gap back, we have to cut with the rip a 2x4 long ways. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna mark it at 23 3/4. So we're gonna remove 1/7 of an inch. The sun is shining outside my window.
Hold that board. Yeah, yeah. Hold that board.
Hold on a second, hold on.
Oh, gee, ain't light, you know.
Yeah.
There you go, right there.
Whoa. Hold on. All right.
Oh yeah, don't fall out, so don't let it go.
Shout out.
Let's see where we're at with that.
23 5/8.
So now these measurements don't matter because at home, whatever, it depends on what kind of window you got.
Up here.
Watch your palm. Don't, not there. Anywhere but there. Hi.
Now it's like a lot. Maybe then I'll rub them out.
I can't hear you. Bye.
Perfect. Good. The one right in place.
All right, so these little wax, not bad. We got a window in our greenhouse now. Take this, please. Hold down low. We're gonna go to the corner of the pipe. Not the wood, but the pipe itself, the outside of the pipe. I have 124 inches. Sit down. Okay. Just put in a rough height for now. Yeah, here. Good boy, Apollo. Okay, so 29. Hold the wood, grab the grip, and let it release it.
Stop.
And that's at 29 inches. Once again, take our 2 hole straps, and we're going to mount them, like so. Before we do that, though, we're going to measure where they should be. So it's 23.5 inches from the corner to the center. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to mark that as the center. And you don't have to do this. This is just to like make it look as neat as possible, so that all the lines are perfect. That's why I'm measuring each one, because they're kind of all off, just like slightly. Let's go halfway in to get started.
This my little doggy dude, getting chunky, eating all the food. Snuggles and he's pretty stinking cute. That's my little dude. Way too many toys up in the room, and this is all he really ever chose.
So it looks like so. Some of them are harder than others to straighten out. You might need to use a hammer. We're going to go 29 inches on the top of the wood, and that'll be the bottom mark of our wood. Take your 1/2 inch 2-hole strap. Might be easier to use a pair of pliers for this part. I'm gonna come around here and straighten it out like that. So once you get it looking like that, just by straightening out one side. I'm gonna go halfway in now so I have room to adjust. We're gonna do one more before we tighten them down. 27. Okay, so pretty much this knot is dead center right there. Going by that, other end is off, but we'll tighten this end down first, and we'll go from there. Alright, that has like super rigidity to it. I mean, you could double it up and put an extra strap here and extra strap here if you really wanted to. So you want to straighten these out on the one side, and right about the highest point where it meets on the 2x6. And once again, we'll cover that with some foam padding so that it won't affect the greenhouse sheeting. Let's check the measurements. This is a speed square. Might have tightened it down a little too much to me. Beautiful. Varying the long screws and the short screws. So on like the ends I use the long ones, in the middle I use the long ones, and like every other one I'm using long ones. Love to see it. And she's done.
Bunch of different options here. Insulation pipe wrap that has like tinfoil on one side and foam on the other. We have thick foam wrap, and these are like type of like rubberized coating. These are all things you can get at your local like big box stores, and this is what we're going to use to go over the edges where there might be a screw or any kind of metal, anything where it would possibly wear at the greenhouse plastic and cut it. We're going to put this over it as a precaution. I decided to use a piece of 1/8 inch thick rubber and just cut it, put over these top spots on the corners, only on the edges, just because these are going to probably get the most tension out of the whole greenhouse. Probably be this area right here. Put that right over there. It goes right on top of it. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm putting the staples on the back side where you won't see it, and because that way there's less chance of the plastic touching it. I'm gonna go over it with this, like, I guess it's like kind of like a weather seal, self-adhesive. It'll just look that much nicer. And if you're super extra like us, you put the white tape over it so you don't see it. Super padded and it looks nice. We also started to fill in the gaps. We'll add rocks and gravel and other dirt as needed. I probably could put just tape over it. You don't always have to do the foam. You only do the foam if it feels like it's protruding out more than tape can cover. But for like this, it's not that bad, so tape will be fine. All right, up top, we're gonna do the same thing. Alright, after a long rain delay, we are back. This is our 1x stripping. It's like 1/2 inch by 1 inch. Now these strips will hold the plastic on to here. And we're going to do the same thing here on the other end. Our friends over at AG Fabric sent us this 5.5 mil 12 by 20 greenhouse plastic. And since it's only 12 by 20, we're gonna cut it in half and use it to sheathe the sides. And we have another sheet that we have from another supplier that we purchased for the top. This is not a sponsored video. They just sent us this for free because they wanted us to test it out. So we're gonna give it an honest review since I'm not being paid for it. By the way, if you want to send me some products to test out, be sure to email me. You gotta be careful cutting it open so you don't cut the plastic itself. AG Fabric, agfabric.com. All kinds of like landscaping fabric, greenhouse shade cloth, all kinds of stuff. There. First impressions, it looks pretty decent. Heavy weight. Nice, that's some good stuff right there. There's like a 10-foot. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as you know you have enough excess to cover everything, we're good. We take this, put it up here. It's very easy to crack these boards. If you're using the impact, maybe lower it down to 1. You can put it on 2, just don't go in all the way. This one, yours?
Let's go to the edge of the 2x4 over here.
To the left?
Yep, right to the edge. If we want to put a hinge on here, it's better to get it as much out of the way as possible. So much better with pre-drilled. Pull taut this way and down. Plastic, pull it straight down. Yeah, there you go. You don't have to make it super tight, but the tighter you make it, the cleaner I think it looks. So now you can readjust these guys. This sheet of plastic is 13 by 25. This will go over the top of the greenhouse. 13, so we have a foot wider, and 25, so it would be excess on both sides. Please, Lord, keep your wind calm for the next couple minutes. Alright, so let's leave that for now, and we can just use it. And now we can take off the clips. Boom. Isn't that awesome? Then you can also readjust and spread out as you need them. Now you can cut off the excess. Make it look pretty. I'm gonna add more strips of wood here and here to get some airflow so we don't get cooked while we're in here. I left the plastic overhanging the window a bit because I figured that way less chance of water or anything getting in there and rotting it. Why not? If you have it, just leave it. Even here, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but that much more insulation. Hey, hi, how you doing? Look at that. I cut it just below the windowsill, and now I'm gonna put some tape on it. A watertight seal, so when the rain comes down, it doesn't go behind the plastic. I have these milled pieces of 1x. They are a little over 3/4 of an inch by about 1 3/8 inches. So I mean, you can use whatever you want to make your door. You can use the pressure treated pine versions. These milled ones, because it's hardwood, I'm thinking it might be a little stronger. Now it's not pressure treated, so I might have to stain this and seal it. Our door opening is 30 inches by 70 and a half roughly. So it might be different. Measure yours before you make the door. 30-inch boards, top and bottom, and then I'll cut the other ones to go in between that. And I'll put one in the center that's even shorter. Originally one at 70 and a half total overall height of the door. But because we're going to put these 30-inch pieces on top, I got these two little pieces of scrap here to represent the top and the bottom. So what I do is I go to 70 and a half, put a little mark where it would be, and then I take the two pieces of wood, put them on that mark, and now I get where it will be now with the tops and bottoms on it. And that's what you cut. Line them up, make the mark,
So if you get them cut, line them up. We're gonna make a mark at 30 inches, just a little dot. This is not really the cutting mark. Then take your 2 scrap pieces, put them on that dot. Alright, now I'm gonna make some brackets by taking my speed square, going by the outside line, which makes a 45-degree angle. Make a mark at 6 inches, turn your speed square over, go by the back line we just made. That will be your bracket. Now, if you make that and you think it's too big, you can always go back and cut it again. 45 degrees. So there's the brackets. I'll make it look nice and I'll keep it stronger. I'll just make a bunch of the same ones. You can cut either 4 or 6 of these. I'm doing 6, so I have them in the 4 corners and then 2 under the center of the door for extra strength. You can do it whatever way you like. I will be pre-drilling holes. Since this is hardwood, I want to split it. I'm pre-drill holes, and I'm going to use like a liquid nails type adhesive. I think it's Gorilla Glue, but whatever you want to use. You can also use standard wood glue if you like.
Love is like the open sea.
We're going to use 2.5-inch zinc plated hinges and screws. You might be wondering why everything's super green and we're wearing hoodies. It's because it's May 10th and it's actually like 48 degrees. That's why you need a greenhouse, because you never know when it's going to get cold.
Use the stapler.
Yo, that clothes is nice. Look at that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it right there. Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, start from the top. Push the top in. So this is the only downside of using hardwood, is that a normal stapler has trouble getting into it. Oh, that's good.
Amazing how hardwood is and drill so easy.
This is a brand new bit.
That's why.
Because the screws are extra short and won't make it through the wood, I have to then drill it in to at least right there. It doesn't go all the way through this. We'll have to drill a hole in a little bit. Now the door handle. Took this 1-inch PVC pipe, we got a 10-foot section, a coupler, and then another about 2.5 feet of another put together. And this is what we're going to use to roll up our plastic. Later in the season, when it gets hot, you can roll it up with this. You can put tape on it. Right now, it's like temporary. We're just going to put on here to keep the plastic out of the way, and to create like a seal along the bottom. Then you can put a rock on it wherever you want to hold it down. I'm gonna get like a nice size brick. Here's a rock right here. Boom. No rotting wood, nothing. Way better than the old way, and it's lightweight too. Now you'll be able to literally roll it up like with 1 or 2 people, put it up on the side, and then just mount it with either a piece of tape, wire, or a quick clamp, or whatever else you have. We finally finished the greenhouse 2.0. Boom. Check it out. How you like your new greenhouse?
Awesome. I love it.
We got the window we can open when it gets hot, and we hung professional greenhouse fan that we got secondhand. These clamps are working well. What we have to do now is trim off the excess. And I like to leave at least like 1 inch, so I'd probably cut it like right there, maybe 1 or 2 inches just in case. And then if you want, you can put clear tape over it just to keep it down, but as you can see, it's pretty sturdy. If you haven't done so by now, be sure to subscribe and smash that like button. Thank you.
From a bird's eye view, you should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down.
Check it out.
For this rebuild, I decided to place the PVC pipes on the inside of the 2x6, thus creating a more flush outer look as well as a better seal when you roll the greenhouse plastic down and place it on top of the 2x6. On warmer days, you can easily roll the sides up and secure them using a piece of aluminum wire, string, or a quick clamp.
It's 88 degrees in the greenhouse on April 14th. Seedlings are already coming up. To raise and lower it, it's as easy as pulling off your piece of wire. Then you lower it, take your clips, snap it off. For safety, you like to place the cinder block on top in the center. Somebody recently asked, how did greenhouse plastic last after the past 6 years? Here it is right here. I took it out. It doesn't look it's actually not that bad. It still feels like stretchy, pliable, like fresh plastic. Doesn't feel brittle like that cheap dry drop cloth plastic does.